And I'm Joe the Shirt. And I'm off the cuff. Welcome back, everybody. Joe the Shirt's off the cuff. That is me, yet again and still. Welcome back, everybody. Today's music is brought to you by The Deliverance. That was their first song with the, once again, overly long fucking intro, also known as Fragments of a Broken Dream. Guys, you gotta work on those intros, I think. I don't know. I think maybe until somebody actually knows who the fuck you are, you might want to get to what's going on. I mean, it was fun. I enjoyed it. It was rocking, you know. I was doing a little headbanging, you know, but no. Okay, now I want you guys to think for a second with me, okay? I want you to think of a place where everything you do is decided by somebody else. I mean, everything, literally, okay? When you go to bed, when you wake up, where you go to bed, who you go to bed with, what time you eat, what time you get to exercise, what time you get to spend with your friends, what time you have to talk to people that are not around you, like see on the telephone. When can you use the telephone? You know, I want you to think of a place like that. When can you communicate with others? I want you to think of a place where everything is literally controlled by others. You know, there's no options here. There's no deal making. You know, you are just told what to do. And if you don't do what you're told to do, you are forced to do what you were told to do. And if you don't comply to the force, there will be punishment coming, be it psychological or many times even physical. Imagine a place now where, due to the overwhelming control exerted upon you and your person and those around you, that you become tense, you become anxious. You have so few rights that you begin to infringe upon the rights of others around you, or they infringe upon your rights. Maybe they try to steal your food. They try to steal your drink. They try to take your property. You know, maybe, who knows, maybe within this environment, certain individuals, you know, form little cliques, little groups, let's call them gangs even, where they get together for mutual defense, but then maybe sometimes, you know, use their increased numbers to attack others and enforce their rule upon them, or maybe physically abuse them, attack them, hurt them in some way. Maybe these individuals get together to hurt you. You know, I'm talking about a place where at any point in time, violence will break out for no reason, for something as little bit as a scrap of food, to whether or not somebody feels disrespected. A place where there's lots of sex, but very little of it is consensual. Now, I want you to think about this kind of place, this type of place that exists, this horrible, horrible place. And I know your first thought may be, with the exception of, say, the telephone, maybe you're thinking, well, that sounds like prison, Joe. Well, it does, but that's not what I'm talking about. I'm actually talking about dog rescues. I'm talking about kennels, animal control facilities, where dogs are kept in environments very much similar to these. Now, I'm not going to sugarcoat this with you. I know that, you know what, due to a lack of space, we do have to confine a lot of animals in a small amount of space, and the option is either we confine them together, you know, in a small amount of space, or we end up, you know, killing them. That's what people do. That's what counties do, cities, states, governments do. You know, because people go around having too many goddamn dogs, they let them breed, and then there are too many dogs, they don't know what to do with them, they dump them off, they dump them off at a rescue, at a kennel, they try to give them away to their friends, they try to sell them, and in many cases, they just throw them into a river, quite literally. And I think that this is a very sad situation for what has been typically called man's best friend, since as far back as I can remember. Man's best friend, dog. Okay? Now, the reason I'm bringing this up is not just because, you know what, I do want you guys out there, if you're looking for a new best friend, you know, Maybe you're recently divorced. Maybe your boyfriend dumped you. Maybe your girlfriend dumped you. Maybe you're moved to a new city and you don't know anybody. You might consider getting a dog or a cat if you're a cat person. You know, there are lots of really great animals out there that could use a home, whose previous owners were too stupid to realize they couldn't take care of them. But, you know, I'm not saying just go out there and get a dog. I want you to consider, you know, is it a good idea for you? You know, my dog I've had now for a little over 10 years now. I got him a little bit after my wife and I got divorced. I was in a very dark, sad place. And I needed somebody in my life that would accept me without questions with all my flaws, and that I didn't have to explain myself to ever. Okay? You know, if I go out and I play with another dog, I don't want to have to make excuses. Okay? Okay, no, I wasn't with another dog. I was hanging out with Craig, and he had a dog with him. You know, it was his dog, not mine. You know, but you know, and I will be the first one. The air conditioning just kicked in. I will be the first one to admit to you that, yeah, you know what? I needed something in my life to give me some comfort, and porn and masturbation and drugs could only go so far. So I turned to the dog. And the dog was there for me. And the dog had no real inkling, as far as I can tell, that I was depressed, that I was angry, that I was feeling lonely. What he did know was that he wanted my attention, and he wanted to give me attention, and I wanted it, and we clicked. And things went good. You know, but before you go out there and just go out and get a dog or a cat or whatever, you know, consider, you know, can I afford a dog or a cat? Do I have the time for it? Is it really something that fits into my life, my lifestyle? Just don't go out there and get yourself an animal willy-nilly, okay? Because then, you know, before you know it, within a year, that poor animal's back in the shelters, you know, looking for a new home, a new best friend, because you were too much of an idiot to realize that you couldn't handle it, or it's not something that you really wanted. And it's not a responsibility that you wanted to do, you know. So just consider these facts before you go out and do anything. But one of the things that I love about dogs is, in a lot of ways, a dog is a microcosm of our own lives, and it's very, very observable. There's a certain amount of humanity when you have a dog as a pet. A dog more so than a cat. I'm not trying to put cat owners down. I've had cats before as well. But there's a certain amount of humanity that you can relate to in a dog. I think a dog is very anthropomorphic for us. And if you don't know what that word means, it means assigning human qualities to a non-human thing. That could be an object, that could be an animal, that could be a statue, whatever. But you assign human qualities to it. And the reason a dog is so easy to assign human qualities to, because dogs in so many ways are really mirrors of us, but in a short microcosm of a view. You know, because a dog really shows you what it is your life was, is, and will become, especially since we live so much longer than dogs. I'll give you an example. I'm 43 years old. I got my dog when I was about 32 and a half years old. He was about maybe a year old, maybe a little less than a year old. He was a puppy, you know. But when you think about dogs, you know, you get a puppy. It's a brand new puppy. It's 2 months old. It can barely walk. It yips. It's very dependent on you for everything. Is very dependent. Even before that, it was 100% dependent on its mother for everything, just like a human baby is, you know. And then, just like a baby, it gets older and it gets a little more independent, but it's still incredibly dependent on whoever's taking care of it, you know. Then the puppy depends on you. The puppy depends on you to feed it, to give it water, to play with it, to exercise it, to take it outside so it can do its business, you know. It depends on you to teach it what it needs to know to survive in your world, you know. You can play with this ball. You can play with this chew toy. You cannot play with my expensive leather shoes. And definitely do not play with the extension cord, because you'll get electrocuted, just like you would a kid. And then and then the dog gets a little older. It gets to a year old. A year-old dog is roughly 7-year-old kid, physically speaking. So it's got a lot of energy. It's really rambunctious, and it's difficult for it to listen to you, and it doesn't really want to. It just wants to see what's fun and interesting out there, just like a 7-year-old. At 2 years old, a dog is a lot like a 14-year-old, even just as energetic, but even more athletic. And now it's gotten some sort of confidence to it, and and it's just so much fun to be around. It's just so happy to be around, and it's just a joy. And this continues, and by around 5 or 6 years old, the dog is a full-ass grown adult. It knows what it needs to know. It doesn't fuck up in your house. It doesn't take a shit. It doesn't chew the electrical cords. It doesn't chew your expensive shoes, and it's very confident in its surroundings, and it's very confident with you, and it shows you a type of respect that adult children show their parents. You move on from that, the dog gets to be about 8, 9 years old. Okay, still in good shape, much like a human being that would be roughly 40, 50, 60 years old, in good shape, but it's not as fast as it used to be. It's not as athletic. It doesn't want to play as much, and sure as shit doesn't want to chew electrical cords anymore, so it's pretty chill, just like a middle-aged adult is. And then the dog gets to be about 10, 12 years old. It's slowing down a lot. The fur on its face is faded, Where it used to be all one solid color, you see a lot of gray. It's a little chubbier than it used to be, even though you walk it just as often as you used to. But it doesn't want to play the way it used to, It doesn't hump his bed anymore the way he used to, and is less tolerant of other animals. It's more curmudgeonly. It doesn't want to deal with anybody else's shit other than yours. And then you get beyond 12 years old, and the dog's getting old. It's getting slow. It farts really, really nasty. It has. You have to feed it special food so it's easier to digest and chew on. You got to give it vitamins for its hips, and so it can pee on a regular basis. Not too dissimilar from older adults, who are in their 60s and 70s, years old, And then, much like we do, the dog almost never wants to play anymore. Doesn't want to run. Will not run. Cannot run anymore. It's got arthritis. It's taking a bit more medication than it used to, and Lord knows it doesn't play fetch anymore, and now it doesn't remember where the electrical cords are anymore. And you're watching your dog, and it's a little deaf, and it's like blind in one eye. You still love him, You try to encourage it, to eat its food and to play with the ball or its chewy toy, and he'll wag its tail at you because he knows you're trying, but he's still not going to get off the fucking sofa no matter what you do, okay? And then, unlike, and in a lot of ways, like with some humans, you get to a point where, well, he can't hear anymore, he can't see anymore, he's shitting all over himself on a regular basis, and he's constantly whimpering and joint pain, and he doesn't want to do anything anymore, and you get to the point where, okay, it's not a life worth living anymore, and then you decide, like a human, you pull the plug, or with a dog, you put him to sleep, and then he's gone. Now, right now, I am hopefully still at least a couple years away from this decision in my life with my dog, Jack, but he's going to be 11 in September, so he's definitely getting up there, and I know the signs, I've had animals all my life. I've studied animals all my life. Hell, I'm a trained veterinary assistant, for God's sakes. And, it's going to come the time where I'm just going to have to, I know I'm going to have to put him down, because you know what? He doesn't understand why he's in pain. He doesn't understand why he's still alive. He's domesticated. A wild animal would probably be dead by now. But, he's domesticated, so I do things to help him live longer. I give him, old dog formula food, and I give him vitamins, and I make sure he's specially hydrated and all that good shit. I take him to the vet and get him his shots, and then the day's going to come, when I know I'm going to have to put him down. And then he'll be gone. And there's the microcosm I'm talking about. We can observe the path of our lives just by looking at our dogs. Just observe them properly, and you will see that they are not that much different from us. And I truly hope that if you have the decency to adopt an animal, a dog or a cat or whatever, and it comes to the point where you gotta do the deed and put them down, so they stop suffering, have the decency to be in the room. You know what I mean? You owe it to them. You owe your dog, you owe your cat. When it's time to put them down for the last nap, just be in the room with them. Pet them, hold their head. Let them wag their tail one more time with you. And on that note, it's time for a break. This is more of The Deliverance with World of Beauty. I'm Joe the Shirt. I'm off the cuff, and I'll be right back. Makes me wonder, why isn't there more Joe the Shirts off the cuff? Welcome back, everybody. My apologies for the heaviness of the first part of the show there. Well, not really. I'm not really apologizing because I felt it was something I really wanted to do. I wanted to share with you guys. It's an ode to my dog, okay? But let's go with something a little lighter right now. Let's do a couple of quick news stories. How about that? For those of you out there who are really, really into Jet Magazine, which was founded in 1951, famous for covering the civil rights movements and black entertainment and culture all around, there isn't any more Jet Magazine. At least not in print anymore. Not the paper copy anymore. Jet Magazine has moved to a digital-only version. Jet has a circulation of about 700,000, which is pretty nice. Third behind Ebony Magazine, which is also published by Johnson Publishing, and behind Essence Magazine. So there's Ebony, there's Essence, Ebony, and Jet magazines. For those of you out there who need your African American culture news, get Jet Magazine now online. No, I'm serious. What? Now, I don't know if I mentioned this to you guys before, but apparently Nintendo has had to apologize recently because it's on its consoles, the Nintendo Miis are virtual characters that get to have a virtual life that you control, that you decide who they interact with. You can get your friends and family to go on Nintendo, and they pick out their avatars, and they're Miis, and that's what they are, and they get to do stuff like go to the store, buy a car, get married, unless of course they're a same-sex couple. Apparently, when it comes to Nintendo, yes, you are a Mii, and you are named Robert, and you have the option of marrying a Nintendo avatar, also known as a Mii, like I said, but only if that avatar was female. Apparently, at no point or another did Nintendo consider that gay men and women would be on their console site and making up fake avatars of themselves and want to get married. Which you think you might understand, but I don't, because honestly, I don't know why anybody would want to get married to anybody in real life, and much less, you know, on a video game. I never got that anyway. But Nintendo has apologized and will be working to correct that particular issue. A man was arrested after police say he used a stolen car to go to court. James Manning, 49 years old, was taken into custody after police received a call from a car dealership reporting that the vehicle was stolen. The 2001 Mitsubishi GPS indicated it was parked at the Tuolumne Country Courthouse. Manning's wife, Teresa Castillo, 45, told officers her husband had bought the car earlier in the day for $200. Really? Did she really believe that? That someone sold the 2001 vehicle for $200? In any case, like I said, the man was on his way to court because for previous charges. The couple was arrested on suspicion of vehicle theft and possession of controlled substance. I was talking about dogs there for a little bit. A lot of it, actually. And here's one for you. A man gets prison for killing a dog. A Sherman Oaks man, that's here in California, pleaded no contest to deliberately running his car over his estranged wife's Chihuahua, killing the dog. Was sentenced on Monday to 16 months in state prison. Wow, that's pretty severe, isn't it? Los Angeles County Superior Court Judge Keith Schwartz handed down the sentence 3 days after Michael David Parker, 45, pleaded no contest to one felony count of animal cruelty and admitted using his car as a deadly weapon. Now you're thinking to yourself, why such a long sentence? I know, let's face facts. Lots of people do a lot worse than killing a dog and don't get 16 months. Well, apparently, because he did plead to it under California's 3 strikes law, he gets over a year in prison. Authorities say Parker killed the dog, a 5.5-year-old Chihuahua named Cow Cow. Now, for those of you out there who may not love dogs, it may be because you live in California or New York, the 2 states with the highest number of dog bites reported and sued for in the United States. New York had, what year was this here? I think it was 2013. New York had 965 dog bite claims, totaling $41.6 million in lawsuits. The average lawsuit netted $43,122, which is pretty fucking good. I gotta tell you. Now this is even more per bite than, say, California, but California still had more bites in general. I'm saying about twice as much. Humans filed 1,919 dog bite claims last year, with insurance companies in the California state awarding a total of $64.7 million, the highest in any state in the U.S. Now, just real quick here. Let me read you exactly what this said here. Humans filed 1,919 dog bite claims last year. Humans filed them. Like somebody else could possibly, anything else, could possibly be filing these complaints other than a human. Now, if it said here, humans filed 1,919 dog bite claims, followed by 79 cats, then I'd be impressed. Oh my God! In case you're Catholic, Pope Francis has a warning for Italy's mobsters. He says that they will go to hell if they don't repent and renounce their, quote, blood-stained money and blood-stained power. This life that you live now won't give you pleasure. It won't give you joy or happiness. There's still time to not end up in hell, which is what awaits you if you continue on this path. Yeah, I'm sure that's going to do it. Yeah, I'm sure. You know what? I'm sure all the mobsters after that just said, "Holy shit, we can go to hell for this? Oh, I'm not doing it anymore, Vinny. I'm out. I'm going to become a doctor." Let's see. Apparently, 70 people were charged in a child porn crackdown. Let's see. Among the 70 people that were charged, there was a police officer, a paramedic, a rabbi, an airline pilot, an architect, and a Boy Scout leader. It sounds like a bad joke, doesn't it? You know, it's like a police officer, a paramedic, a rabbi, an airline pilot, an architect, and a Boy Scout all walk into a bar. No. Apparently, they were caught using the internet to collect and trade child pornography. Apparently, these 6 were among 70 New York City area men and 1 woman charged as a result of a 5-week investigation by the Homeland Security Investigations Arm of the U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement. Some of the defendants used terms like, quote, real child rape and, quote, family sex, had downloaded thousands of disturbing images on their computers inside suburban homes they shared with their families. The lone woman was accused of allowing a suspect to videotape her son. Oh, what a bunch of sick puppies. Now, you remember a few weeks ago I talked about Donald Sterling, owner of the Los Angeles Clippers, who got into some heat for making racist remarks and very specifically saying that, he didn't want Magic Johnson or blacks at his basketball games, which is a little weird when you own a basketball team. But good news, he says he's sorry. He says, according to this, that in pleading for forgiveness for what he called a terrible mistake, Clippers owner Donald Sterling apologized Sunday for making derogatory remarks about blacks, saying, quote, "I'm not a racist and I've never been a racist," and appealed to the NBA owners to let him keep the team. Well, as long as he says he's sorry, Which reminds me of Jonah Hill, actually. He got into a little hot water himself recently. Apparently, he was out somewhere doing his thing, and he was being hounded by paparazzi who kept taking pictures of him and kept baiting him, making comments about what he was wearing, his pants, his shirt. And at one point, Jonah lost his shit and told them to suck his fucking dick, you fucking faggots. Since then, Jonah has apologized and reiterated that, it doesn't make it right to say that no matter what. Now, I know I talked about this quite recently, and I'm talking about it again because I want to make sure that you all know both Jonah Hill and Donald Sterling are really, really, really sorry. Pinky swear. All right. On that note, we're going to take another break, our last break of the day, and come back with more Chili Shirts Off the Cuff. And here's more The Deliverance and their song, Fallen Angel. Shirts Off the Cuff. Oh my God. More canine news for you guys. This one actually having to do with gray wolves. Gray wolves being among the more predominant species of wolves in the Americas, especially North America. There's gray wolves, timber wolves. There's coyotes. There's the Mexican wolf. There used to be an Australian wolf, but they're gone. But also not in the Americas. But there you go. We're talking about the gray wolf here. Apparently, the California Fish and Game Commission on Wednesday, this is a couple weeks ago actually, but it's an old story, but I still have it, postponed a controversial decision on whether to afford gray wolves protection under the state's Endangered Species Act, giving itself another 90 days to consider the matter. After listening to a spirited 2.5 hours of public comment in an overflowing meeting room in Ventura, the 5-member commission voted unanimously to take up the issue at its next meeting in June, which is this month. Apparently gray wolves have been reintroduced. Actually, they've reintroduced themselves into California for the first time in 70 years. And there's a lot of debate. A lot of people are always wolves in this country, more than any other animal, I think, any other wild animal, spark so much emotion. Now, if you're a guy like me, you find a great deal of beauty and majesty in them, a great deal of dignity, and a heritage from them, because wolves are where we get dogs from. Okay? I love dogs, and I love wolves, and I think that they're just incredible, and they have such a very structured family life, the pack life, and how things work in a pack life it's just very intricate, very detailed, and there's very little left to chance. And when chance does happen, it's corrected quickly, and things either change or they stay the same, just like with human life. If you're like the other side of this debate, well, you people see wolves as opportunistic, violent, evil, dark, in league with the devil in some cases, prone to witchcraft, shapeshifters, or any other mythology. So few animals on this planet incur so much emotion, so much mythology, so much folklore and legend as a wolf does. You know, maybe it's that they are a throwback to what dogs are now. Dogs to us are loyal, they're beloved, they're faithful, they are companions, they are our best friends. And the wolves are dogs that decided that they didn't want us. And that's why I think some people, have their issues with them. But so the debate rages. Debate rages in many of the Midwestern states, many of the northern states. How many wolves are allowed to be in the state? How many can we allow that won't endanger our families or our livestock? Now, interesting fact here: if your livestock, say your cow or your sheep, is killed by a wolf, or your goat or whatever, the United States government will refund you the fair market value of that animal. So it's not like these guys are at a loss here. They'll refund you the money. You can go get another fucking goat. All right. And there has been not a single, now I'm missing a word. I hate it when I miss a word. There's not been a proven historical piece of evidence of a healthy wolf attacking a human being. Every case of any wolf ever attacking a human being has been proven that that animal was actually sick. It was rabid or had some sort of other disease flowing through it that made its decision-making process impaired. No such thing as healthy wolves attacking humans. Hasn't happened yet. No one's ever been able to prove otherwise. Either that or they're really just that sly. That being said, like I said, we're going back here to California, where, like I said, wolves are back in the state for the first time in 70 years. and they're trying to decide the wolf situation, and they decided to put off the decision by 3 months, and and they're allegedly going to decide it this month. Now, let me tell you about the wolf situation in California. We are talking about OR7. That is one wolf that came into California sometime in 2011, a young male gray wolf in Northern California, known as OR7, who came in out of Oregon and occasionally comes into California. That's it. We have people flocking to meetings to decide whether or not to give one wolf endangered species status. Now, bear in mind that the Department of Fish and Wildlife has estimated that it is reasonable to conclude that California will be able to host a functional wolf population within 10 years. Exactly what that means is open to debate, because in many states, less than 1,000 wolves, less than 500 wolves, less than 250 wolves within a single state, a big state, is considered functional, proper. You have the state of California, which conceivably is the third largest state, I think, in the union, and we have one wolf. I think they're making a little bit of a mountain out of a molehill on this one. Let's talk about gun control a little bit. I always love gun control. Actually, I also love home searches and seizures. Okay, let's go with this. We're almost out of time here. Okay, the High Court has ruled that it can expand police leeway in home searches. Now, for most people, that's not something that they even think about. It's like, well, why would the police want to come into my house? Well, I got nothing to hide. It's no big deal. I mean, I just got a little weed. Whoops. Oh, well, it's not a big deal. I don't worry about the police coming in here. I mean, I just have my fraudulent welfare checks here. Whoops. Now, what this law is expanding is whether or not the police have a right to enter your home. Now, what this law is saying is that any resident of that home can give the police permission to enter. Whether or not they own the home is irrelevant. So let's say me and the Russian. Okay, the Russian and I live together. We've lived together now for about 10 years. The Russian is the on-the-lease owner of this home. She owns it, okay? No matter what happens, if we're default on the mortgage, I can just get the fuck out and tip the fuck out, and no one's coming after me. This is the Russian's house. She owns it. But because I live here, I am a resident here, if the police knock on the door and the Russian's got, 50 pounds of cocaine and methamphetamines that she's planning on dealing, throughout Compton, if the cops knock on the door and say, Mr. Shirk, can we come in? I have the right to say, yes, you may. And that is legal grounds for them to enter, search the home, find the 50 pounds of cocaine and methamphetamines, and take the Russian, myself, or the both of us to jail. Now, you're thinking to yourself, that seems a bit extreme. I mean, obviously you wouldn't do that. But let's take a look at it a different way. Your children are residents of your home. They live there. So, if, say, you're having a night where you decide, you put the kids to bed, it's 11 o'clock on a Saturday, you and the wife feel like smoking a little weed and getting it on, you get it on, you do your nasty business, and you fall asleep, one of the neighbors complains to the cops, hey, I smell weed. I think it's my neighbor next door. Cops knock on the door. You're asleep. You don't hear it. Kids go to the door, and the cops go, hello, Susie, can we come in? Susie goes, okay, and opens the door. Well, you know what? You're getting arrested for child endangerment, neglect, possession of controlled substances. You're going to jail because it's perfectly legal for a 6-year-old to let the cops into your house. Please keep that in mind. Now, on to guns. Apparently, it is the court has backed up another ruling. The Supreme Court strengthened a federal law that bars anyone convicted of domestic violence from possessing a gun. In a 9-0 decision, the High Court said the ban extended to anyone who has pleaded guilty at least to a misdemeanor charge of domestic violence, even in cases in which there was no proof of violent acts or physical injury. So what they're saying is, if you beat your wife, or you didn't beat your wife but admitted to it, or you didn't beat your wife, didn't admit to it, there was no physical proof of it. No, wait a minute, that's not right. No, but if you beat your wife but there's no proof of it and nobody admitted to it, and you did admit to, excuse me, too much tequila. But if you did admit to anything, well then in the future you're not allowed to own a gun. Doesn't sound bad, does it? I mean, I don't think people that abuse their spouses should, own weapons in general. I know, truthfully though, one thing's got nothing to do with the other. If you're going to kill your wife, you can do it with the gun, the knife, baseball bat, your bare hands. I mean, the bitch had it coming. And then finally, there's a bill in Georgia that was recently passed that will soon make it legal to carry a gun in a lot more public places. Places like, say, bars, churches, and government buildings, which is exactly where I want people with guns. In bars, where people drink a lot, in churches, where people are emotional, and in government buildings, where people are just pissed off in general. That's exactly where I want a lot more guns. Following Governor Nathan Deal's signing Wednesday of a bill celebrated by supporters as a victory for the Second Amendment, but decried by critics as the Guns Everywhere bill, the Self-Carry Protection Act, which takes effect July 1st in Georgia, will allow licensed gun owners to take firearms into houses of worship, if the congregation allows it, into bars, unless the owner objects, and into non-secure areas of airports, and into government buildings except past security checkpoints. So they're saying that unless somebody says, you can take a gun with you into a bar, a church, government building, and certain parts of the airport. Well, yeah, that just seems like a good idea to me, doesn't it? Now, the law also would permit schools to arm staff members and lower the age from 21 to 18 for active members of the military to obtain gun licenses. Now, I don't understand why active members of the military wouldn't already have a gun license if they're, in the military. Oh my God! You know what? No, you can't bring the gun into the bar. You can't bring your gun. And the truth of the matter is, odds are, if you were gonna bring a gun into a bar, a church, a government building, a school, or certain parts of the airport, you're probably not letting people know. Oh, by the by, I'm packing. You're probably not doing that. And that is my time for today. 45 minutes always just goes by so fucking fast. Oh my God. You guys are the best. Thanks for being here. Text me every 5 minutes. Call me every 3. Love you. In any case, that is my time. This is more The Deliverance with their song Embrace. I'm Joe the Shirt. Thanks for listening. I've been off the cuff.